Vanakkam. Hi, this is Sudha Mohan.
Hello.
Today we are going to meet Dr. Tamil Selvi Tirupati. She is an gynecologist, MD, DGO. Now she is in consultant at CK Hospital, Erode, Tamil Nadu. Most of women want to every day because they have lot of questions in her mind. Sometimes they cannot ask that questions. So this is the forum for those unasked questions and list of few questions from our friends and viewers. Um, let's start to welcome Dr. our show.
Hello.
Okay, we can start with a common question from most of us. Uh, there is an uncontrollable pain during period time, and also overbleeding is dangerous.
Hello. Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Ac- Uncontrolled bleeding or uncontrolled pain is. Hello. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay. If you have uncontrolled pain or uncontrolled bleeding, first you should rule out the secondary causes. The pain during bleeding is called as dysmenorrhea. It can be primary or secondary. If it is secondary, it may be due to some other causes. That is maybe due to swelling in the uterus or a cyst in the ovary, or it can be any other reason. If it is primary, when you can call it as primary dysmenorrhea is when you rule out the other causes, then it is called as primary dysmenorrhea, and you can get treated yourself with the painkillers. Okay. As far as uncontrolled bleeding is concerned, a normal bleeding flow will last for some 3 to 5 days for anybody. For 3 days, it may be heavy. That is, you change up to 5 to 7 pads per day. After that, it will get reduced. If you change more than 5 to 7 pads per day, or you are passing clots during the bleeding, then it means uncontrolled bleeding. Then you can go for a consultation with a doctor. Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Then, what could be the reason for period each month pushing few days, like 5 days beyond the actual day, then 10 days period day. Sometime after eating sesame, only the period come. Is it normal?
Okay. Normal cycles will last from 21 days to 35 days. If it is less than 21 days or more than 35 days, then you can consider it as abnormal. Nobody will get their periods on the particular date every month. So it may be little bit variable, 2 days before, 2 days later, anything it can be. If it is less than 21 days, then it means frequent cycles, or if it is more than 35 days, then it means prolonged cycles, and there may be causes according to the condition. If you get frequent bleeding, it that might be caused due to the cyst, or it may be due to infection. Or if you get prolonged periods, that is beyond 35 days, then it means the causes can be due to the most commonly said polycystic ovaries. Okay.
That sesame seed is very important for uterus. Everyone know, but can you just explain what kind of food is good for uterus?
இல்ல, nothing like that. This seeds, that will cause, that will induce bleeding. Anyway, the period is related to your ovulation day. Any women know gets follicle growing in their ovary. This will reach a maximum size of some 2 centimeter. Then it will rupture. After that, mostly after a fixed 14 days, you get your bleeding. It's not related with if you did not get ovulation, then you may have frequent periods or prolonged periods. Okay.
Yeah. Period flow reducing to 2 days for 35 years old. Is this normal?
Normally, bleeding can last from 3 to 5 days. If it is less than that, then you have to rule out the secondary causes. It may be due to thyroid related problems or any other prolactin hormone. That is one other hormone which causes disturbances in your cycle. This both can be the reason. or sometimes even after sterilization, family planning surgeries, you may get reduced bleeding. But if you get regular cycles, you need not worry about the duration of bleeding. If it is lasting for 2 days, it's okay. But if it is just spotting or you didn't get bleeding at all, then it is a problem. Okay.
What is the case of irregular periods? It's a common, and there are any treatment to avoid irregular periods?
Actually, irregular periods is getting commoner nowadays. The most common cause of this was the most commonly named polycystic ovaries. What happens now? Because that is called as a metabolic syndrome. That is, people have gain excess weight, then they have hormone disturbances where there is acne, you get acne, you gain weight, and there is no follicle or ovulation occurring in the ovary. That is called as polycystic ovaries. So because of that, you get the regular periods. So the best thing to avoid that is to reduce your weight. That develops especially in the starts in the adolescent and gets worsened further. So what you should do now, take care of what diet you do, avoid gaining excess weight, do regular exercises. All this will help you to get your periods regular. If it is further irregular, then you have to need to do a hormone assessment like thyroid, wherein where there is decreased thyroid hormone levels, that is hypothyroidism, you may get delayed periods, or it might be due to polycystic ovaries, which most commonly you detect by doing an ultrasound scan. Okay.
Next is the vaginal discharge is good or bad?
Actually, vaginal discharge is normal in a woman. You may get white discharge immediately before periods and during the egg rupturing time, where that time it will be watery, but just before your menses, you will have a bit thick of white discharge. Other than that, a blood-stained discharge or an excessive discharge or a discharge which smells badly and associated with itching in the um, external area, all this is abnormal. It can be due to fungal infection or the any other cause. And if it is worrying or if it is causing itching or it is blood stain, you have to meet a gynecologist to rule out the causes of what is the secondary cause for the discharge. Okay.
Should we use any vaginal products to clean every day, like hot water, something kind of soap?
No, no, no. You normal bathing soap is enough. Don't try any such uh, cleansing agents, because normally vagina in a female has a good bacilli called as lactobacilli, and excess washing or using these will decrease that, and that per se will cause dryness in that area and discharge. Okay.
Okay. What is the natural way to treat yeast vaginitis?
Which, what do you mean by
The
vaginitis?
yeast infection.
Oh, yeast infection. Okay. Avoid wearing wet or cotton undergarments. Okay. If it is, then you have to change your undergarments, use cotton undergarments. Then you have to take care of the sanitary pads you are using. You shouldn't use that for more hours. Leave it as such. Or if you don't change frequently, then all this will cause yeast infection. Okay. Then if it is persistently disturbing you, you have to go on for a treatment for vaginal infection, whether which includes an antifungal vaginal tablets, or that is called as pessaries, or if you are unmarried, then you have to opt for vaginal creams. If it is not possible, then you can even take orally antifungal agents which can reduce the infection.
Great.
Then especially no, this vaginal infection is irritating when you are a diabetic.
Oh,
So if it is in the middle age or in the later age group, then you have to see to that you don't have an uncontrolled diabetes, because that is a factor for frequent yeast infection in that area. Okay.
Okay. It isn't necessary to remove public hair. If we want to remove, what is the safest way?
Removing hair is it will keep you fresh and feel good. Best option is you can use vaginal hair removing creams, but before that you should have a test in your arms, do an as advised by that product, and if it is not causing allergy, you can use any creams. That is a good way of keeping that area clean and fresh. Okay.
Okay. My next question is about breast pain during ovulation time. If a lot of women ask the same questions, also some have experienced cramp during the same time. Is it normal?
Actually, few of them developed breast pain, but that is significant when you cross those 30s and you move into 40s. Most of them will have a discomfort in the breast in the luteal phase. What is meant by luteal phase now? It is the second half of your menstrual cycle. That time you gain weight 1 to 2 kg. There is fluid accumulation in whole of your body. So that happens even in your breast. So that will cause a dragging pain in your body. That will settle down once the menses comes. Then if it is not getting settled, then you have to meet a doctor. Then moreover, I want to insist on breast self examination, which you should do immediately after menstruation. Every lady can opt for that. Immediately after menstruation, you can lie down in a reclined position and do a systemic palpation of your breast, which will help you to look for a breast nodule or swelling, which you can detect early. Okay, you should try this immediately after menses, so that the breast will be soft and you can look for any swelling, and you can do this every month. This is the simple way of looking for breast examination by themselves. Okay.
Great. The next question is, my daughter is 12 years old and she gets cramp stomach pain on the fifth day of her period. The rest of the day she doesn't have any discomfort. Is this normal?
Very rarely people do get on fifth day. Pain during periods is more common on the first or second day. Before treating simply with painkillers, you have to meet a gynecologist to rule out any other causes for this pain. Then, if you have found out no cause, then it means it is called it is a primary dysmenorrhea, which you can get treated with painkillers. But pain on fifth day is not very common.
Okay, she need to meet doctor, right?
Yeah, really.
Is it normal to have PMS mood swings and there any way to overcome it?
PMS mood swings. It is. If you take it as complicated and you really put your thoughts into it, then it's disturbing. It will be present during the second half of the cycle. It is most commonly due to the hormone called progesterone. Okay. So the best way to overcome this is cutting salt in the food, taking plenty of water, and concentrating on doing a meditation or some light exercises, and keep yourself fresh and feel good. That is the best way to overcome the PMS, rather than going for opting for medications, because putting blame or labeling everything on uh, PMS or mood swings will further complicate the issues, and you go on investigating more and more, and you land up with a psychiatrist, everything. So the best way to overcome is keeping yourself engaged. Do whichever you like, meditation and light exercises should be integrated into your daily life. Okay.
How to calculate ovulation if having irregular periods?
It is very difficult to calculate ovulation during if you have irregular periods. if first I'll tell you how to do in a normal cycle. If you have a 28-day cycle or 30-day cycle, if today is your first day of menses, what you have to do, 30th day you have to mark on a calendar or do a marking. Then you have to subtract 14 days from the probable date of menses. That is our 30th day, and that is your day of ovulation. In irregular periods, if you have up to 35 days, you can try calculating using the same formula. But if not, if you get 25 days cycle, then 30 days, 35 days, 40 days, then it is very really tough for you to calculate your ovulation by yourself. Though you have many apps now to track ovulation. Some people may feel pain in the lower abdomen during ovulation. Some may have little bit of spotting. You can try to notice that and calculate ovulation, or otherwise you can look for ovulation kits now available. But in irregular cycles, doing ovulation kit daily in the morning is really cumbersome, and it's better to regulate your cycles before you calculate yourself. Okay.
Next question. If we use hormonal IUD, what are the pros and cons?
Actually, opting for hormonal IUCD is a form of treatment for certain female problems, that is called as endometriosis or adenomyosis. Actually, pros, if you look into the pros, no, the systemic effects, that is the hormone will act locally within the uterus, and you will not have an effect of taking the drug, remembering to take the drug. That is a very big problem nowadays, remembering to take the drug, or the side effects of those tablets or hormones you take orally, no, that will cause disturbances in your sugar level, in your cholesterol level, in your BP. In few of the people, it may cause seizures, that is convulsions. Few of them, it may cause migraine, and in few of them, it may cause other problems, even mood disturbances. So when you opt for intrauterine contraceptive device with hormones, it gives better effects, and you can avoid the systemic side effects. Cons, as such, if you try hormones, no, the most common side effect is a bit of irregular bleeding in the initial 3 months, and you may end up in amenorrhea. What is meant by amenorrhea? You don't get periods at all. Okay.
Okay, will it affect our mental health, and will it play a role in mood swings? Will it affect our blood flow? Is it the best birth control?
It's good as a birth control. It will treat few conditions, few gynec problems you get in the uterus and the ovary. Otherwise, the problem is some of them may have irregular bleeding. So you can't predict when you get the bleeding. But comparatively, it is a best option for those conditions where you should go for uterus removal surgeries. Nowadays, before you try oral medications, then you go for hormonal intrauterine device. If it does not get corrected, then you can opt for hysterectomy. Otherwise, you can try this as a stopgap effect, taking your gynec doctor's opinion, advice.
Thank you, ma'am. If PCOS and cyst become common among many women of this generation?
Really. Yeah. That is growing menace. Actually, you can call it as a growing menace among young adolescent girls. Probably in my OPD, I can just say every day, if I get 20 OPDs, then minimum 5 to 7 people have this problem. And it is more among the adolescent age group. Really, we have to take care of our girls and avoid getting into trouble, because it doesn't stop with irregular periods. It goes on, and it affects your reproductive life, and further, even it can cause metabolic disturbances where you get sugar, hypertension, cholesterol levels because of this irregular periods.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you so much, doctor, for your
Yes.
answer to your questions. I hope this session is very informative and eye-opened for many myths.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
If needed, you can post further questions. We will have a short session later also.
Sure, sure.
Okay.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Bye.